We head to the French newspapers now, where Elena with us in the studio as ever at this time. And French presidential elections, it's come round again almost every day, really, isn't it? And the socialist candidates, there are a bit of loggerheads over the Eurozone debt crisis.
Yes, both two topics we've been talking about a great deal. They've now converged. On the front page of Libération, we've got François Hollande and Martine Aubry, the two leading candidates to be the socialist nominee for the 2012 presidential election. Haven't got the physical papers, unfortunately, but we can have a look at the digital edition. Now, what's the problem between them? Martine Aubry says that she will cut public spending by 3% within the first year of her becoming president. That's because she says in the context of the Eurozone crisis, France needs to cut its deficit. François Hollande says no, it doesn't. He's got some quite expensive proposals in his policy packet, including creating 300,000 new jobs for unemployed young people, and he reckons he can finance all of that from cutting out tax havens without needing any austerity measures at all. Now, Libération's editorial inside pretty much laments that they're both talking about this. They say they're playing right into the hands of the right wing by encouraging the old stereotype that socialists don't know how to manage the economy. They say they could easily fall into a right-wing trap where it will be the ratings agencies who decide who wins France's next presidential election. If they're all talking about austerity measures, it will come down to who's going to cut more, they say, and the socialist candidates need to talk about some other kind of policy issues.
It falls perfectly for the right-wing newspaper Le Figaro, that, doesn't it, really?
Yes, well, they're thrilled, really. I mean, they've got those two candidates rowing on their front page as well, alongside a story about the Eurozone crisis, headlined a crucial week for the Euro, and they don't hesitate to make the connection. They say it's perfect for the right-wing UMP if the socialist candidates do keep arguing about what to do with France's budget, because it will help them convince the French public that France is indeed in danger of a Greek-style default, and that they need to vote for the right to stop that from happening.
Now, another row still going on. Last week we had the Green candidate saying that France's Bastille Day parade should be changed somewhat, and that's rumbling on, isn't it?
Yes, Eva Joly, who is the Green candidate, is of course originally from Norway. She has lived in France since she was 18, nearly 50 years. But the question of her nationality has been evoked by lots of politicians on the right over the weekend after she said, as you said, that the army parade on Bastille Day should be replaced by something a bit less militaristic. Prime Minister François Fillon accused her of not understanding French history and French traditions. And Le Figaro has spoken to him again this weekend, where he was in the Ivory Coast. And he told them that the parade's important not just to show off France's military power, but to pay their respects to those who risk their lives defending her. And the paper says he's trying to position his party as the #1 defender of French nationalistic values to try and avoid being taken over on the right by the National Front. But that's not necessarily a unanimously popular policy on his own side. The paper also interviews the Transport Minister, Thierry Mariani, who says his party's moved too far to the right. They're in danger of caricaturing themselves, he says.
And Bastille Day really is the start of the kind of the French holiday season, isn't it? And one of the papers is looking at countries like Tunisia and Egypt and whether tourists can be enticed back there again.
Yes, this is on the front page of Le Parisien. This is quite interesting because tourism, of course, is hugely important for the economies of Tunisia, Morocco and Egypt, who saw their tourism revenues collapse at the beginning of this year because people were worried about political unrest, and particularly French tourists, of course. Tunisia sees a million and a half every year, and they need them for their economy. But the Le Parisien's reporters have been to the beaches in Tunisia, and it doesn't look particularly good. They've interviewed the tourism minister, who says that although British and German tourists are starting to come back now, they're just not seeing the French, unfortunately, and it could take 3 years for tourism to recover. The reporter does interview those French people who are relaxing on the beaches, though, and they say it's perfect. They've got them to themselves and their holidays are dirt cheap. The paper does point out if you want to support the Tunisian or Egyptian revolution, there's still plenty of time to book a holiday for this year.
Excellent. And we've got 1 minute to talk very briefly about two alcohol stories. First of all, in Lyon.
Yes, so this is in Le Parisien again. In Lyon, they've decided to ban alcohol sales between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. They're trying to discourage teenagers from what they call le binge drinking, using the English term, so no doubt about where that problem comes from. They can't find very many people in Lyon who are keen to support that policy, though. Most just say people will buy their drink before 10 p.m. and keep it for later.
But they're not the only ones with alcohol-related problems, are they?
No, the famous French multinational company Ricard, which is one of the world's biggest drinks companies, has just lost a libel case that they were bringing against former employees who said they developed alcohol problems because they were forced to drink on the job. Of course, the sales staff have to test the samples and then show them to buyers and so on. And Ricard took these people to court for writing a book with these claims in it, and they've lost. So they're now going to have to pay their legal costs, and a judge has found that Ricard does, in fact, force its employees into alcoholism.
Well, very early here in the morning, we're forced to drink as well on the ship. Coffee, though, not the same thing. All right, Elena, thanks very much. Elena here with the French newspapers today.